I want to talk about the New York Times article that dropped on Sunday. It's exposé on Los Angeles's failure to protect young girls from being sex trafficked on our streets.
It's one of the most notorious sex trafficking corridors in the United States, known as the Blade. It's about a 50-block stretch. There are churches and schools, but there are also girls as young as 11 forced to solicit customers for sex.
Coincidentally, I had posted about a hike I had taken with Kidsave the day before on my socials, a nonprofit helping older foster kids. In foster care, older can mean just 10 years old. That's the age when kids start moving from home to home. Their emotions are through the roof, they're harder to handle, they've already learned to not trust adults, and that's when they start falling through the cracks and become far more vulnerable to exploitation. So when the New York Times story showed girls as young as 11 being trafficked on Figueroa, it shook me, and it demands attention. Because these aren't grown women making choices, these are girls who have been failed by every system that was supposed to protect them.
The vast majority of these girls are coming from the foster care system. Traffickers are able to lure them in with love and affection. Then over time, they start to rely on violence and manipulation to keep them from leaving.
So in 2023, an anti-profiling law written by State Senator Scott Wiener stripped our LAPD officers of the ability to even bring in an 11 or 12-year-old girl standing on the street at night in lingerie. And the intent was to stop profiling, but the result stopped rescue.
LAPD's Central Human Trafficking Unit has been disbanded, which means vice units like the one at 77th Street Division are having to carve out the time for this on their own.
Senate Bill 357
repealed that law,
which repeals provisions of the law that criminalize loitering with the intent to engage in sex work. You can't arrest somebody for how they look. You need to actually catch them in that act.
These girls weren't being arrested. This was one of the only tools that our officers had to identify and catch the traffickers, and now it's gone. This is what happens when Sacramento writes blanket laws that handcuff our cities from protecting our own people. I want to talk about the girls. The emotional wreckage of being used as a product for sex is almost impossible to recover from. When these little girls are no longer desirable, where do you think they go? They're not getting educated. They're not in school. They just don't suddenly go get jobs. They end up on our streets. That trauma doesn't disappear. It becomes addiction. It becomes mental illness. It becomes homelessness. We look at the tents and we say, how did we get here? Well, this is one way we got here. And when I posted about this yesterday on Instagram, I was reminded that this isn't just South Central. It's happening right now in the council district I'm running to represent. These are girls I've seen with my own eyes on Western and First standing on our corners today. Where is the leadership that fixes our problems upstream? Where is the courage to take on the hard issues before another generation of girls ends up on our streets in prison or worse, dead by their own hands or by the hands of their traffickers? This is about protecting children. This is about protecting communities. And it's about having the courage to act and protect our little girls, to show them that they matter before it's too late.